have recently read Fraternize by Rachel Van Dyken, I would like to tell you how I liked it. When I opened the ebook, I saw that the author has already written a ton of novels, but for me, this one was the first one. I learned about this novel on Goodreads and also on NetGalley when I was skimming through, and it has so many good reviews already, so I also wanted to try it out. It is a new adult romance story, and it's with cheerleaders and football players, and I was feeling like reading such a story, so I was signing up for it and I got this arc, and so I dived right into this story. In this book we have Emerson. She has become a professional cheerleader, and so since she's in the team you have some certain rules. For example, you have to stay fit, there is a diet plan you should follow, and you also should not fraternize with the football players, so you should not have like a romance or some games going on with someone from the football team. And this point is going to be more difficult for Emerson to take care of. Also, but what is actually interesting is that she's actually a bit more heavy, like she's getting described as curvy, and her clothing size is a bit more than you usually have as a cheerleader. When I was reading it, I was googling it and calculating it into the EU, as into the German clothing size, and there it was a 42, but I will convert it back and write you in the info box what her size is, so you can get a feeling for it. So she is a bit more, she's a bit heavier, although she's also fit and she's strong, and so she got accepted in the team. When she gets to the cheerleader training, she also gets to know the football team, and also there is a perspective change going on between Emerson, and the other guy is Miller, and he's on the football team, and when they see each other, yeah, they are pretty much surprised because they already know each other from college times, because there they were going out, and this is no spoiler, this is something you get to know pretty early, and they were breaking up, but they actually don't know, they always think that the other person broke up. So this is one kind of the plot of the story, that they're finding out what was the problem and how did they get separated. And yeah, Miller, when he sees her, he is stunned again and doesn't really know how to feel, and he's in general pretty soft and a nice guy. And there is another one, he's called Gran Sanchez, and he is known as a playboy. He likes to date all different kind of girls, and also when there are new girls on the cheerleader team, he's always checking them out. So in the parking lot, when he first bumps into Emerson, he also instantly starts flirting with her. So we have a bit of a love triangle going on, and on the other hand there is, like I said, it is what happened back there between Miller and Emerson, and what role is Sanchez going to play in this whole love triangle. When you're reading the blurb of the story, you actually know that she's a professional cheerleader, so that they are like adults, but I was a bit confused because for me, cheerleader and football, this has, oh, like, I don't know, maybe as an European, when we watch the US American sitcoms and movies, like I still kind of ignored the blurb and the synopsis, and I actually thought that they are a bit younger, that it's like such a high school or college story, but actually they are more adult. They are about 24 years old, and then sometimes you hear some stories what happened back there when they were some years younger, I think 17. The cool thing about the story is that there are two perspectives. There's also a third one, but it's coming a bit later, so I don't want to tell you what the third perspective is, but the other two is Emerson and Miller. So the cool thing is you get to know both sides of them, and so also as a reader you already know what's going on and what the one person knows but what the other person doesn't, and so you have of course this conflict while reading, and you're like, oh my god, why aren't you just telling each other, and why aren't you just talking with each other? And this is actually especially frustrating because there's actually a lot of talking going on in this novel. When I kept on reading it, what I had in my mind is there is nothing other happening than talking. So the cheerleader thing, the footballer thing, it's like that they don't really have a life outside of them. Of course, sometimes you hear a bit when they are in the apartments, so a bit friendship and clique and so on. And also there is the father of Emerson, he has some troubles, so sometimes you also have a scene playing in, playing around the father of Emerson. But apart from that, there is not much scenery going on. It's pretty much like when I'm reading it, as when I was reading it, it actually felt like a play. Like you could completely do this on a theater stage, because it was always just the certain figures, you know, this little friendship circle, and they were just interacting and talking with each other. So it did not feel pretty lively, I have to say. But on the other hand, I just liked I liked dialogues. I liked how they're talking with each other. So it was still interesting, but it was something that's were like striking that I noticed. Like it's like completely put in a box. Also Sanchez, he is like displayed as the playboy, but yeah, he is kind of fun. Like he always starts flirting with Emerson, but he is a bit over the top, because every kind of line he's throwing at her, it always has a sexual content. Like every time when, you know, for example, when Emerson says, you know, I don't know, she's like confused, for example, then he says, hey, you're confused because, you know, I am near you, so you don't know anymore what to think. Or when she says, oh, I have to sit down, he would say something like, yeah, you know, come onto my lap, or stuff like that. Like it was really, really over the top, and at one point pretty annoying. I think one of the interesting aspects of this novel is that you don't know if you can really trust Sanchez, if he, you know, really has feelings for Emerson, if he just wants to get her into bed and then let her drop like a hot potato, or what is he really about, and how is his reputation really displaying how he really is. Apart from that, they are all rich AF, so the footballers, they always have a party and have like food parties, like they go into restaurants, and like the bill is like 8 grand and so on, even though of course when the whole football team is going for dinner it might cost a while, but still, like it's a bit high society life. Like he also has a really nice car, and for example, when Emerson's car is breaking down, he is just buying a new one and is lending it to her, and she's also in a conflict if she should accept it or not. And also Miller, when he's seeing that, he is also a bit angry about it, and has troubles with accepting that Emerson and Sanchez have to do more with each other. To sum it up, it was a nice, enjoying, easy, romancy novel, even though there were a few chapters where I was a bit, where my heart got a bit heavy, and I was like, oh, that's so touching and sad or cute. So yeah, it got that kind of emotions from me, but it was not happening that often, and also the novel is not that long with 320 pages, but in the end there was such another plot twist coming on, but in my eyes this was absolutely not needed at all and made the novel longer than it really needed it to be. If you're wondering if the book is ending with a cliffhanger because there is another book announced in this kind of a series, I can tell you, no, it's pretty typical new adult style that the book 1, it's a closed ending. You can absolutely stop with this and it's fine. It's like this, that in the second book the protagonists are changing, so characters you got to know and you know from book 1, so from Fraternize, they will appear as the new protagonists in the second book. So if you like the world, if you like the characters, and if you like Rachel Van Dyken's writing style, so you know that there is another book you can just hop into. But if you're not interested in that, then that's absolutely fine and you just stop there. And I think, like, I have not planned, or like at the moment I'm not planning keeping on with the story, but so the first one was enough, even though it was an okayish nice read. Oh yeah, and something I would like to add, I'm not a big fan of cursing words, bad language, so here and there, and there is some wording like that going on in the book. For my taste it was a little bit too much, but it was okay. Also the sex scenes, there are some, but it's taking a while till the first one is showing up, but it's not that explicit, but it's pretty Hollywood-like. That was my little book talk to Fraternize by Rachel Van Dyken. Thank you so much for watching, have a good one, bye!